Hi everybody, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Welcome to our class at Dana Point. As you can see behind me, you have the surfers. You see the Pacific Ocean, and a beautiful place to be practicing. The one thing I did learn from this experience, because I teach, in yoga studios, or I teach, in my home, is that it's a different experience when you're doing it on grass. So if you're trying to learn how to do balances, it's actually one of the best ways of perfecting your balancing. Today we're going to do the Flying Pigeon. Quite a complex standing pose or arm. It's actually an arm balancer, but there's modifications to it. So I'll show you. Don't hesitate to just, I don't care whether you're a beginner or not, or advanced, you will get a lot out of this class. So we'll get started. Okay, we're going to actually start on our backs, lying down on the backs. The whole idea that we're going to be thinking about are hip openers, working on creating as much space in our hips as we can for this pose. And you're going to be hearing lots of distractions from the outside world. But that's okay, this is part of the experience, right? Let's start with just hugging the knees into the chest. And then placing your feet flat on the ground, knees about hip distance apart. I want you to place your hands on your rib cage. Take a deep breath in, and as the rib cage expands, feel that rib cage get larger and wider, as if you're wearing a corset, and the strings are being pulled apart. And then as you exhale, the strings come back together and you're pulling the strings tighter. So let's do that, just 2 more breaths. Get the sense of breathing into the rib cage and not the abdominals. It's not belly breathing, it's rib cage breathing. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Okay, let's hug your knees back into your chest. Let's place the feet flat on the ground. We're going to do a few Anna Forrest of abdominals to get our core nice and strong. Take your hands behind your head, elbows angle in towards each other, pointing up to the sky. Feet flat on the ground. Now, for those that have done Anna Forrest with me a lot, your feet can stay on the ground, or you could pick them up to a 90-degree angle and push through the ball mounts of those feet. So either on the ground or like this, 90-degree angle. Head starts on the ground in your hands, elbows angle in. Take a breath in, press the lower back into the ground and lift your head and shoulders up. Then as you hold your breath, tailbone lifts, and then as you exhale, feel free to straighten both legs. Now if your feet are on the ground, obviously you're not going to do that. Elbows lift up high towards the sky, and then inhale, bring the knees back so they're directly over your hips and just lower to the upper part of your shoulders. Holding the breath, tailbone lifts, exhaling, elbows lift up, and then feel free to straighten those legs to a 45-degree angle. Or if it's easier, lift them up towards the sky. And then inhaling back to neutral. We're going to do that one more time. Holding the breath, tailbone lifts, keep the tailbone lifted the whole time. Exhaling, reach your legs away and elbows lift up towards the sky, not towards the feet, but the sky. And then inhale back, hug your knees into your chest. Let's hug your right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg down to the ground to start, flex that left foot. Head starts on the ground. Take a breath in, lift your forehead up, and then lift your foot up about 1 inch off the ground, hover it. Okay, and then we're going to just switch, left knee towards you, right leg straight, hover that right leg off the ground, and we're switching. Holding on to those shins, abdominal work. And now, you can do this with your hands behind your head if you feel that you need a support or not. Let's do a few more, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's hug your knees into your chest, few little rocks and rolls. And then let's open the legs into a happy baby. So take your hands inside the feet or outside the feet. Knees are outside your shoulders. Knees press down. Feet are flexed as if you're trying to touch, I suppose, touch the sky or ceiling, wherever you're doing this. Tailbone pushes downward as you exhale. So inhaling, lifting up as if somebody's lifting you up, a crane is lifting you up, and exhaling, press the tailbone down. Thinking about opening those hips. And then take an inhale and exhale, bring the legs together. Hands just on the outside of those knees or behind the knees. Open the knees a little bit wider, about hip distance, maybe even a little bit wider than that. And take a breath in and lift your head off the ground, and let's roll up to sitting. And let's do a few little rocks and rolls. Now this is interesting on the grass. So you're rolling up and you're pausing. Keep your chin tucked. Do not make sure your neck doesn't touch the ground. And then lift up, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, inhale and roll up and hold. If you need support, hands on the ground. And let's come into our boat pose. Now you can keep your knees bent, your hands under knees, hands to the sides. You could straighten your legs if you'd like. Take a breath in, lift up nice and tall. Make sure your spine is long. You're not collapsing down. If you are, bend the knees. Lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. And then take your hands behind the knees or inside your feet. And I'll do it from this angle so you can see what it looks like. And you're coming into that half a happy baby. I know this is kind of strange. Opening up and seeing if you could straighten those legs. Opening up those hips, balancing at the same time, maintaining a tall spine, and then let's place the soles of the feet together into badkanasana. Hands underneath or butterfly pose. Lift up, hands underneath your feet and take an inhale, lift up, and then exhale, fold forward. Let your chin drop, breathing in and breathing out. Then take an inhale, lift back up nice and tall. Take your hands to the outside of those knees, and then let's come on to our hands and knees. So hip opening, that's what we're concentrating. Let's begin with a few little cats and cows to warm up your spine. We're gonna do a flow, a sun salutation to warm up our bodies. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, inhaling, lifting through the heart. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, opening. And then curl the toes under, come back to neutral, sit back to your heels. Take an inhale, lift your knees about an inch off the ground. It's actually easier on the grass. You have a little bit more bounce, which is nice. Exhaling, downward dog. Bring your left foot in towards your right foot, either from hands and knees. Reach your right leg up to the sky. Square the hips to the ground. Exhale, knee to nose. Right foot between your hands. Left foot to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhaling halfway, pressing up halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhaling, fold down, swan dive down, forward bend. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling, stepping back, downward dog. Holding the breath. Let's lower your knees, just hover for a moment. As you hover, I want you to press your tummy towards your thighs as if you're just about to leap. And then straighten your legs and then bend your knees. And this time I want you to lean forward or rock forward till shoulders and wrists are in line, and then re-straighten those legs, come onto the toes, and then then the legs are straight, you're back in your downward dog. Then bend the knees and shoot yourself forward as if you're shooting through a cannon. And then lift up back into your downward dog. One more time, inhale forward. This is quite intense. First bend the knees, then shoot forward, and then lift all the way up, exhaling, downward dog. Let's bring your right foot in towards your left foot, inhaling your left leg up to the sky, knee to nose, breathing in, and as you breathe out, left foot forward, right foot forward, forward fold. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling, forward fold, and let's inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, lift, 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 lift. Exhaling, dive down, forward bend. Let's open the feet, coming into the squat, sitting down, another probably easier one on grass, but you can then make sure the heels are touching. If you can't touch the heels to the ground, then you can put a block underneath you or sit on a big cushion or put something underneath your heels. Other than that, lift up nice and tall, opening up your heart, opening up those hips. And for this flying pigeon, we need to feel more open in this space. And then take a breath in, and let's place the hands on the ground, straighten the legs, heel toe those feet so they're hip distance apart, and let's step back, downward dog. Let's lower the knees to the ground. Let's take a pause, 2 breaths in child's pose with your knees wide. Big toes are touching. Take an inhale and exhale. From here, open up the knees. Open up the knees as wide as your mat, and your feet are in line with your knees. So your feet and your knees are on the outer edges of your mat. Flex your feet. These are called frog feet. And gently open the knees. So this can be tough if you're not on a slippery floor. Come onto the forearms. This is called frog splits. So here we go into a frog split. And don't force a frog split. Just listen into the body, breathe in. And every time you breathe out, maybe there's a little bit extra that you can expand and move, but there might not be anything. You might be at your limit. So don't, and then just, it's very important that you pay attention to how your body feels in this pose. So breathe in and out. And then walk your hands back up. Bring your left knee in, right knee in. Curl the toes under. Either press back into your extended child's pose for a few breaths or follow me into your downward dog. Bring the legs together for this one. It's a good feeling to have your legs together since we're doing a lot of hip openers. And let's open up the hands a little bit wider than they normally are in your downward dog. Maybe the pinky fingers are touching the edge of your mat. And just bend your knees as if you're just about to leap. Tummy touches your thighs, and then straighten. Shake your head no, shake your head yes. And then let's either lower the knees to the ground or open the feet. Everybody open their feet, hip distance apart. And then bring your right knee in to the center of your body and place that right knee inside your right wrist until it's on the outer edge of your right side of the mat. Slide your left leg back. So this is pigeon. So if we're doing flying pigeon, you can kind of get a sense. Oh yeah, this is what it's going to look like. And we have a doggy visiting, which I love. Okay, so sitting up and then coming all the way down onto your hands. And let's stretch out those hips. We're only going to be here for a few moments. Walk your hands back up, curl the toes back under. Lift your left knee off the ground first, and then step back, downward dog. Before we go to the other side, let's walk or jump forward. forward fold, stretch out those legs. Feet are hip distance apart. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. And inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Lift up nice and tall. Come into a gentle back bend. Exhaling, forward fold. Take an inhale and exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhaling into your plank, knees down or up. I want you to think about Chaturanga arms. So I'll spin around so you can actually see me. You're going to bend, you're going to squeeze your elbows in towards each other. So everybody lower your knees to the ground. And your inner edges of your elbows, the eyes of your elbows, will be pointing forward. You'll lean forward, fingers are spread, and until your chest is in front of your thumbs, take a breath in and then lower yourself down. That's Chaturanga. That's what we want to be thinking of when we do the flying pigeon. Take a breath in and then push back up, downward dog. Let's do the other side of the pigeon. Take a breath in. Either from hands and knees or from your downward dog. Knee, that left knee, bring it about halfway, then over just behind your left wrist. So your left knee is on the outer edge of that left edge of the mat. Slide your right foot back. Heel for most of us is underneath our pubic bone. Some of us are very flexible on the hips and you can do a 90-degree angle with this. I'll do a 90-degree with this side. For those who want to go a little bit deeper, let's take a breath in on our fingertips and let's just lower ourselves down just for about 2 breaths. Letting the head rest on your hands, 2 fists. You can make 2 fists or a block or on the ground. And breathe in and breathe out. Whew, lots of hip work here. You'll feel this. Warming up these hips. And then walk your hands back up and curl the back toes under. Lift your right knee off the ground in order to stretch the back of that right leg. And then step back, downward dog. Take a breath in and let's either step or if you're in the mood, why not leap forward, forward fold. Let yourself go. Shake your head no, shake your head yes, loosen up. Open the feet, another squat. Too many squats, then just come down about halfway or come back into your squat. Lifting up your heart, lifting that heart towards your thumbs. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, straighten those legs, heel toe those feet so they're hip distance apart. Let's take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach your arms up to the sky. Lift, 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 lift. Bring the hands together, lean back, hands to heart. Okay, hands to the ground. We're going to go into our flying pigeon. So what we're going to do is you're going to bend the knees. Actually, let's start from standing. Let's do this from standing. Bend your left knee. Place now this is going to be interesting on the grass and on a decline. So I'm on a little bit of a hill here. Right ankle on the left thigh. You're going to come down, hands to heart. This is a standing pigeon. This is a balance in itself. So feel free to just stay here. The flying pigeon is where your hands are on the ground or they can be on blocks. This can be just as far as you go. The other option, bring the hands forward and you're going to curl the back toes under so you kind of jump back a little bit. And you place your right leg on your arm. So I actually kind of messed up. Sorry about this. I just kind of messed up. So what you want to do is bring your arms as close in as possible so that your upper arm is touching that left that right leg, around the ankle, shin, and the right arm is just below the right knee. Okay, so here we are in Flying Pigeon. So you're going to try and get that left foot off the ground. See? So you're playing here. You might not even get the foot off. And then let's walk our hands back up and let's release that right foot. Let's fold forward. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do the other side. You roll up one vertebra at a time. Okay, now you're going to bend your right knee. Place that left ankle on your right thigh, hands to heart. So we start with lowering ourselves down as if we're sitting on a seat. Once down, some of us will stay here. This is as far as we go. Or place the hands on the ground. Take your left arm, press it into your left shin, right arm into your right ankle, or just above. It's actually around the shin. Hands on the ground or on blocks. You can do this on blocks. Take your right foot back a little bit and create a little shelf with your upper arms, with the triceps. Take a breath in, look forward, and then exhale. Lift your right foot off the ground. I'm not only gonna come as far as kind of bouncing or picking it up for a second. Most of us will be there, or maybe not even that close. And then slowly walking your hands towards your right foot and taking that left foot off and folding forward, forward bend. It's a heart pumper. It takes practice, as you can see. Yoga teacher is practicing herself. And then let's come onto our hands and knees. If anything, it's just the whole preparation to getting there. It's not the actual peak pose. That's the important part. Let's extend our legs, come into a forward bend. Whew. That Flying Pigeon is an arm strengthener, hip opener, chest opener, upper back strengthener. Lots of things happening there. And let's slowly lift ourselves up. Let's slide our bottom to our heels, and let's lower ourselves back down, hug the knees into the chest, little rocks from side to side. Either with the legs stacked on top of one another, or take your left foot on the ground, cross your right leg over your left leg and drop your knees to the left. Come into your spinal twist. That's a twisting root. Turn your gaze to the right. And then lift your knees back up. If you're in twisted root, on twist, hug your knees into your chest. Either keep the knees stacked or take your right foot on the ground, left leg crosses over, wraps around that right leg, cross it, drop it over to the right, turn your gaze to the left. If your heart rate is still up there, which will happen in these poses, these peak poses, just keep the breath moving evenly and smoothly. Pick your knees back up, untwist, hug your knees into your chest, and prepare for your Savasana. Here we are, feeling good, feeling strong, feeling stretched. Powerful pose that, most of us have work to do. I do as well. And as you continue on, I will find my way up to close the practice for today, for this session. As I bring my hands in front of my heart on this glorious day in California, Thank you for being with me. This is Rebecca Jane with Yoga with Rebecca Jane, and I'll see you soon. Namaste, everyone. Mwah.